Hello, I'm Jordan. I'm a psychic medium. Today I'm doing a show, Ask Your Questions, one question, $10. I will give you a live 3-minute answer. If you have two questions, 15, and it is a 5-minute channeled answer. So feel free to drop your questions in the live chat. You can send your payment to the information for payment is right in the description box. So I am dedicated in 2026 to sticking with a YouTube schedule. So I plan on coming on YouTube Live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central, and then every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. So if you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe, drop a comment, say hello. This is a community that I'm building here, all rooted in light work. So I'm an evidential medium. I give readings using my psychic, empathic, and mediumistic abilities to work with my clients' higher mind and spirit team, their angels, their loved ones in the light that guide them for their highest good. And I deliver messages using a method called mental mediumship. So this is where I'm telepathically communicating with spirits and I am reading the energy of an atmosphere and space telepathically, psychically, empathically, and mediumistically. So there are different forms of channeling. One form that's really common is trance channeling, and this is where spirits come within the body and speak through the reader. I do use this form of channeling mainly for angels. Angels tend to come through trance channeling. Otherwise, mental mediumship works just as great. So I do offer timelines with my readings, identification on the spirits that I'm speaking with. I think that's really important when delivering messages so that you know, got deceased mom here, father, husband, whoever it is that's coming through with evidence on their life so that you recognize that they are here and guiding you. So I'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday. So hopefully we start to build some momentum for the channel. That's my focus for 2026. So I'll be here. Sometimes I'll just be on and kind of in my own world and waiting for someone to come on and ask a question, or sometimes I'll give a message, like a collective message. But my plan is, if you're here, every Saturday, I will be releasing a collective message that's a video that's pre-recorded, and that's going to kind of be my collective messaging that I will be pushing out for 2026 starting this month. And then I offer a free reading show. This is on the radio, though. This is on News for the Soul Radio. You can listen at newsforthesoul.com. We're also on major streaming stations, so you can listen to the show nearly everywhere that they're streaming, but you can tune in live right from newsforthesoul.com, and you can also call in 716-333-SOUL, 716-333-7685. This will be, I'm going to be joining someone. I'm really excited. Yay, collaboration on the 16th. You can find more information right from my website under the events page. I will be co-hosting a live reading open caller show with Joanne. She's a soul embodiment guide and light worker. So I'm super excited. We're going to be doing intuitive energy readings. So you can call in and we're going to kind of piggyback off of each other and read together. So I'm super excited about that. And then she'll be joining me on my show on January 28th at noon Central Timing. So you can tune into both of those shows for free readings. And then also every fourth Wednesday of the month, I'll be offering free readings. So that's my free offering. YouTube will be paid shows, but it is a discounted show. So if you were to book a private email reading with me, like a 1 question or 2 question reading, you can do this through Etsy or on my website, jojoempathic.com. I believe it's like $15 for a 1 question, 25 for two. So this is a discounted offering here on YouTube. And if you ever have like a burning question, you are really needing quick clarity, this will be your go-to to jump on and ask for kind of quick, fast, discounted guidance here. So excited to offer this and trying to anchor in 2026 with the YouTube and broadcasting and my radio show too. So I'm also looking to collaborate with other healers. If you're coming across this video, it's still listening at this point. If you have an art or a skill or gift in a certain field in healing arts that you are eager to share and explain, to get a message out to the collective, please email me, jojo@jojoempathic.com. I'd love to collaborate with you. I'm looking for healers that want to go on my show, not only to promote different healing art and alternative healing modalities, but also if you are a reader and want to join me for joint readings. I think that's fun, and I'm excited to open up my show to offer this. So if you want to join me and give a live reading together, let me know. What else is new? So I am offering in-person sessions in the North Texas area, specifically Frisco, McKinney, and Little Elm is where I offer in-person sessions out of my private home. I do have a few different home locations right now. You can read more about my story at jojoempathic.com. Under services, you'll find the in-person service and can read a little bit more about me. So I will share right now just some details. I recently opened a cleaning company. It's exciting. It's called Mystic Shine Cleaners. And as I'm developing this side business, which I hope to grow down the road and bring other people on my team, one of my clients actually has several vacation properties that I help care for and clean. And so I actually live at various locations through my friend and my client. So that's kind of my living situation right now. And I love it. I'm definitely someone that's nomadic and very sensitive to the location that I'm in, where I live, the location, the atmosphere, the land. As an empath, that's very sensitive, do not like living in apartment complexes, especially since the Great Awakening. Energy is very intense in certain locations. And so it's been really nice to be in some home properties and to offer in-person sessions at home is really sacred and special. I love it because I feel so grounded at home. I feel safe. My first in-person space was actually a really nice state of the art office space located by the Star in Frisco off of Warren Parkway, if you're familiar with Frisco, Texas. Up and coming area, lots of restaurants around there. It's fun. And very nice. But it was smaller, there was no windows, and the walls were like paper thin. And sometimes when I channel, I get a little bit loud. Not loud, but it's just assertive. And so it wasn't so homey like offering a session in home is. Where else? So and then I had a second in-person studio in a salon. So it was a salon suite, which was a little bit bigger, more private. I was on the spa side of the salon, so it was more of the quiet side with like the massage therapists and estheticians, but it was still no windows and it just kind of feeling, like in a closed space and, with other businesses around. So it's been super nice and peaceful for me to work from home where I can get grounded in my own space and the connection is even stronger. So I love it. Um, Last month, as I was kind of grand opening into offering in-person sessions from home, I had one of my repeat clients who I love so much. I don't know if I want to give like a name shout out, but you know who you are if you're here and you're listening. If you are, drop a comment and say hello. But one of my favorite clients came to visit me in person as one of my first in-person sessions, and it was just lovely. She brought me a big old box of Ghirardelli chocolates as a gift, and it was just so nice and connecting, and it was a great opening for me where I was met with love and could give love. And so I invite you to my personal space. If you are in the area, you're more than welcome to come by for a reading. The only thing is you have to just be kind of variable. You have to be open and flexible with which location I'm at. Sometimes I'll stay a week in Little Elm, Frisco, McKinney, but all around essentially similar Main Street, Frisco area, and so they're all relatively close. But I have water for you when you come, coffee and tea. So I'm super excited to meet with you. If you are new and considering booking with me, love to meet with you in person. Now, when it comes to virtual readings, they're just as accurate. So wherever you are in the world, you can meet with me over Zoom on the phone. If you're international, we can meet on Zoom, Google Meet, WhatsApp, whatever's convenient for you. I'd love to meet with you, and it's just as accurate, it's just as powerful in connecting. Mainly because when you go into the higher dimensions, there's no time and space between us. So in the higher dimensions, even if we're virtual, it's almost as if we're in the same atmosphere and I'm able to really read your energy just as accurate as if you were right in person with me. Sometimes being in person can be overwhelming, especially for new readers, because if you think about it, it's like two people sitting in each other's aura fields, and that can be a little bit overwhelming. To me, it's not. Sometimes it can be with certain energies, but what I'm saying is that virtual readings are just as powerful. It's a myth that, it'll taint the connection. I actually say I don't need background information, pictures, none of that. I just need your first name and, your spirit team of light will be ready to channel through me because I'm a light worker. It just works like that just as easily. So I do offer time zone accommodations also for international clients. Got clients all over the world. Shout out to my international clients. So if there's a time that would work for you that you don't see as available for me on my end, just reach out via email, jojo@jojoempathic.com. I'd love to accommodate you for a time that works good for you, given that we may be at different places in the world. And I think that's something that I've really tried to be considerate about, especially with planning for YouTube live shows. So if you've noticed, Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Central is a pretty universal time for everyone around the world. And then I'm trying now on Thursdays at 7, which is a good time for YouTube too. So if you are new to my channel, let me know where you're tuning in from. I always love to hear where where are you from? Where are you at? And where are we connecting from? So I'm located in Texas. I'm from Western New York. I've been in Texas on and off since 2014, so Texas is kind of my second home. And so, yeah, I'm always excited to meet people from different areas of the world, and I love giving readings. So, your girl. You can read more about me and see my testimonies and reviews all on my website and on my Etsy shop. So, there will be a lot of rambling and talking, I'm sure, on these shows. Maybe I'll start playing music or have dinner on Thursdays here with anyone that wants to join me. But I'm going to be here because Spirit's really pushing me to be here. So tonight I'm having some bone broth. I had some cacao earlier. Hello, if you have a question, feel free to post in the live chat. And by the way, you guys, I have a whole new website. If you haven't checked it out recently, go check it out. If you like to connect with me and my website and all that, I've totally updated it. I like it. I'm happy with it. I've gotten positive feedback about it, and I'm currently working on the course fragment of the website. So my Reiki course is going to be on there in a really good format, which makes it easy and accessible. Not that my other format wasn't, but this is super easy to sign up for my Reiki course. And I recommend you do it and get an attunement, especially if you're looking to get into the healing arts. Reiki is really a good foundation for energy healing. It's powerful. You can send it to inanimate objects, animal situations. Love, 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 love Reiki. And I recently had someone reach out about medical intuitive and quantum healing, but didn't want to take the entire training that I have, which is one-on-one personal sessions. And at the time, I was like, I don't offer my course, which is like almost 4 hours long in quantum healing and medical intuition, separate from my training. My training it's a special training that Spirit has given me the downloads, showed me the walk. I've gone through my experience. I've trained. It's a combination of all of this so that you are equipped to give healings with knowledge and wisdom, but also it tunes your abilities so that you have spiritual sovereignty in your spiritual practice. So I think if you're here or drawn to work with me, fundamentally I promote spiritual sovereignty. It's not what I want, it's not what you want, it's what spirit wants. It's but through us all uniquely. That's what I am all about. It's my mission. To help us all just kind of break free from the restraints of other people's power on our minds, on our hearts. Um, Fundamentally, I'm all about self empowerment. That's how we heal and that's how we um, thrive. So that will be up on the website soon um, for you to consider maybe just taking the quantum healing medical intuitive class. And then if you want to train with me, you can do that too. So I am now offering, after it gets up on the website, my quantum healer class without the training. So maybe you're considering going through the full training, which is a 12 session package, and you're just kind of like on the fence about it. But maybe if you take the class and you see that it's something you resonate with and you resonate with my teaching style, then you can actually move forward with booking the 12 session package with me. And there will be a discount on that package because you've already taken the course, which is included as a freebie in my package. So that's exciting. In my 12 session healer package, I also include a class that's not open to the public. It's on paranormal clearing. That's important. I do not teach healing without paranormal clearing because they go hand in hand. Light work is about facing the dark and transmuting it. So we can't avoid that. Like a lot of light workers, they do. They just want to be all love and light. And I'm just like, well, contrast is why we're here. So, so today is the 4th of December. We're looking at full moon energy. This full moon is in Gemini and it's I believe it bends the nodes of fate, the north node of fate. So this is a period where the things that are happening today, tomorrow, and then leading into this whole week are really destined. These are destined, fated changes that we're all looking at right now and facing. I think there's some turbulent times politically that we'll be seeing in December. Um, I also feel like there's a real threat to democracy, but um, certain influential leaders, I'll say, I never predict death ever. It's part of my moral code, but I do feel there are some people that are in danger based on astrology and predictions. Elon Musk being one of them, Candace Owens being one of them specifically. This whole situation, and I'm not bringing politics in it, this is just general predictions that are coming through right now. Drop a comment if you want more of the general world predictions too, and prophecy from me. Let me know in the comment box. And please like this video, share it if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel. What's happening in Ukraine is very similar to what we may be able to see, like with Venezuela. Like these are two areas of the world that hold the largest like oil reserves, and so there's a lot of conflict over these areas because of war, because of oil. And although our war in the modern world is changing and evolving from oil to data, in a sense, you could say, we don't want to ignore what's happening in Venezuela with America getting involved and doing what you could say is, illegal, strikes against potential civilians in this guise that it is for protection of drug smuggling, simultaneously pardoning drug smugglers. So it's a really interesting time. But I am predicting that we will see shakeups with these really influential leaders in December. I think there's going to be a lot of shock as well. I think this week there will be shock with the moon that we're under right now. What else? Um, we're seeing an excess of the collective issues right now. It's like things are hitting head. Things are hitting ahead with the collective issues that we face. Um, I think that I'm trying to see like a turnaround of these events that I'm being shown. I want to say I'm going into like March of 2026. Um, so more of a spring timeline of when things begin to have resolve. Um, Travel is something that's on the horizon that's shifting. And like today, when I was cleaning, I was getting visions about airports in the future. And some of my prophecies I've been hearing about airports is I do see like a major shift within air travel, major shift within airports. Not only how you check in and like TSA, that's where the major shifts will be, but in how they're scanning people in, we're going to start to see a rollout. I want to say of digital IDs coming out soon into 2026. That shifts not only our economy, our registration processes, which are already a mess in America, but it's also going to shift your ability to travel. So I do feel that's something on the horizon. Um, that we will start to see more and more shifts with airports and travel. So I'm going to jump over to the live chat. So I have Lily 00012. Hi Jojo. I'm a first time viewer. May I ask a personal question about soul's purpose career that you see around me or the most significant thing in my energy? I'm Angel. Thank you. Hi Angel. Yes, thanks so much for joining. You can go ahead and so I have your name. I'll just need your one question or two questions in the box. And then also, I have in the description box how to send your payment, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or you can use the link in my bio. So whenever you've sent that, please let me know and come back to the live chat with your questions. And so one question is a 3-minute answer, and then two questions is a 5-minute answer. So I'm going to go back to some world predictions while we're waiting for Angel. Um, see if she wants to go forward with this. But back to world predictions. I think one of the biggest and most shocking changes that we will also see is not just with travel, with the airports, with political and influential leaders, and the digital IDs. I'm seeing this time and time again, and I've seen it for a few years and it's increased. There is a push right now for us collectively, and I'll be talking about this in my Saturday's released video of the Atlas 3I video, part two. There's a real push for us, and I'm not going to break this message down too much. You want to tune into that message, it's really good. Where we are as a collective right now is that we're under an immense amount of, I don't want to say force, but just as like with this full moon, it's like there's a force that we're facing, a pressure that we're facing as a collective that's pushing us to a complete evolution, and we're quantum jumping together as a collective into um, eventually unity consciousness. And in the video that I'm putting out, I will say we're not there yet, but we're in the baby steps towards unity consciousness. And I'll give you a little touch. It's like a sneak peek into the video into what I mean by this. And we're not there yet. The video will dive deeper into this. Specifically, I'll touch on one part of this is that empathic mirroring is the reason we cannot fully step into unity consciousness at this moment. Think about it. If you are familiar with empathic mirroring or know how it works more powerfully when you have an emotional connection with someone, your loved ones, your family, your friends, your spouse, your kids. You may be able to feel in your own body what they're feeling. You might be able to know in your own sense that they're going through something that's challenging or a hard time. You just know it. You feel it. That emotional connection's there and you're almost one with that person, with your loved ones. This is who we share a unity grid with the most. There's a physicist, Rupert, that is, I forget his last name, but he pushes the morphogenetic resonance. Basically, his theory is that, there's fields around us, quantum fields, and who we are related to, we share and intertwine or quantum entangle with those individuals. He explains it by like how birds can all just switch on a dime together because they're in sync, almost telepathically through a field, through a quantum field. See, it's very, very true. Very true. So, in your most sacred relationships is where you tend to hold the unity consciousness for other people the most. These are conscious connections that you choose. You choose to love your child. You choose to love your parents. You choose to love your spouse. You have your friends, the people you keep near you. And with that choice of love, you tend to become one with them. And a lot of times with the biblical marriage that we hear of, that tends to lead to divorce, this type of dynamic, it just does by statistics, my opinion. But it's a good example of what I think we tend to aim for when we think of marriage is the oneness of coming together. And it's not just in the biblical representation of marriage, it's through a lot of different religions and cultures. It's two people coming together as one. So you have this oneness field, you could say, with all of the people that you really hold close to you. You touch on the other person's field if they're just acquaintances with you. If you have clients or other connections or people that are in and out of your space often, you can also count them in to becoming quantumly potentially entangled with you in some way. So the person texting you can influence you. The person thinking about you now in your circle can influence you. We're all interconnected like a web of consciousness. So if you think about it, by just turning on the news or talking with your neighbor at the store or going out in public and hearing the level of consciousness that a lot of people are at, would you really want to be one with your neighbor or the MAGA leader at the grocery store putting the signs up to get immigrants out and stuff like that? Would you really want to? No, you don't. So we're in the stage, and I'll go again more in depth in my video on unity consciousness later, but we're in the beginning phases of unity consciousness to where the first part is setting up healthy boundaries with one another. That's the part of the collective unity consciousness stepping stones that we're going towards. That's where we're at, is that those beginning phases of like setting healthy boundaries with the people around you. And this does mean cutting some people off. This does mean no contact with people sometimes if there's a toxic relationship that's just unhealthy and not growing. That's healthy to walk away. It's healthy to set healthy boundaries. That's where we're at in the unity consciousness. That is like a stepping stone to down the road, the people in the future, the collective in the future is so refined in this respect. There's the collective that I'm seeing in the future that's really anchoring in the unity consciousness when we get there down the road. These are individuals that are conscious. These are individuals that have self-awareness. They're aware of their human potential, the brain's power, the heart field, the quantum field, and they make more conscious choices. They have more awareness of how their energy affects other people. These are the individuals who will be able to root and anchor unity consciousness to the planet. See where I'm going with this? This was a download I received the other day as Spirit's pushing me to go to part two. I started to get the information in pieces of what the message is on, and we're almost there. So right now in your life, it's really important that you establish some sort of sense of healthy boundaries with people, that you develop some sense of protection for yourself. I've been on this message the past like 3 months of like why roses have thorns. A rose has a thorn because it'll be trampled on. If not, it it could be. It needs its protection. The beauty of the rose needs protection. The beauty, the love that it represents needs sanctuary and a safe space, a container. And that's the message for us all that I think Spirit's really pushing us to anchor now is love for self, love for others, but not tolerating disrespect or harm for others or one another or for self. It's about recognizing through discernment. That's where we're at truly in unity consciousness, is that we are in a place of recognizing discernment of safety, of what harm looks like. Let's let's break this down. Well, because we throw around the term false light so easily, but we as a collective are going through a period of evolving and learning how to have real discernment of what is light and what is false light. Now, if you've ever been on a spiritual awakening journey and you maybe even trained in intuition in some way, you'll know that that walk and journey takes time. You can go train for 6 months, 12 months in psychic development, see you in 6 years, because that's when you understand down the road. That's how it works with a major shift in your belief systems, a major reprogramming of the subconscious mind. It takes time. Okay. So that is important to remember that right now, I'm seeing a lot of us feel very alone and it's making us settle. and I was on my radio show talking about this. Go replay it in the archives. The last show was on setting your expectations high as a way to calibrate higher frequency into your manifestations. Loved that talk. Loved that message. But that's the same. That's the message that Spirit's saying is that I get very saddened to see where we are collectively, um, in terms of our boundaries with one another. It's really rough right now. And I'm seeing it repetitively. I think a lot of women making choices that are self-sacrificing and disempowering for a false light, a false sense of security, a false sense of love. Um, and that's really sad that I see this so often. And I've had to realize this within myself as a woman where I've overgave, where it wasn't reciprocated to me, or I've, you know, um, settled for different relationships that are just they're not worth it. And so that it's real growth when you're able to start to finally see that you're in this pattern and make a choice to make change and actually make the change. Don't just think about it. You do it. You actually stop with all the dating the toxic men. You actually put your foot down when someone love bombs you on the first date. You just see through it, the illusion right away, and you don't tolerate it. You put a stop to it. I was talking to a friend today about how the church programs us to be the good girl or the good guy and makes us very fearful to be the bad girl or bad guy. But I was explaining to my friend, like about certain situations with my business, I have to be that bad guy and put my foot down and say, this isn't tolerated. I have to be that bad guy and say, you cannot have access to me anymore because you don't have respect for me. And I'm tired of it. I have to be that bad guy that steps up and says, enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to keep listening to this. You're not going to come into my business and just trauma dump on me and expect for me to pick up all of these pieces for you. No. Okay. Learn to be the bad guy. In the feminine, I call it learn, ladies, to get into your black cat era. Okay. This is where there's power. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, bad woman, or bad man. It doesn't. That's the church's conceptualization of do good or be punished, condemned to hell. Do this or else. You'll be judged, you'll be shamed. And so we are so set to always be the hero, to always get that validation from other people, to avoid the judgment that's like, you know, uncomfortable. So don't hide behind the good guy and or good girl. Because a lot of times once we break free, we have this huge breakthrough and flow of chi, flow of creative energy, flow of inspiration because we've broken through that blockage of being unauthentic. Okay, so the rebel is one of the most powerful healers on the planet. That archetypal energy is so Aquarian, excuse me, so healing because the rebel refuses to operate in anything other than authenticity. And so any slight bit of confinement against true self, the rebel rebels and turns away from mainstream, or the system that's imposing that restriction or unauthenticity or kind of rewiring or anchoring that pattern of unauthenticity, holding that container for it. Rebels say no. So be the rebel. That's another message coming through. Be the bad guy, be the bad girl if you need to, with how you're operating things. And don't get that confused with doing harm. Okay. Some people, you need to set those boundaries, even if you might look tough. Um, I know a lot of times, especially as women, we go into the workforce and we don't want to lay the laws of the land down. But that's what you're hired for a lot of the times, especially in these manager positions, ladies, is you are hired to lay the land down. Get firm. say it the way it needs to be said. Be respectful, be compassionate. But I think that as a collective, we not only need to love ourselves, but we need to start operating in a place of where we're not just doing things to get the hero title. We're not just doing things to get the approval or look like good guys or good girls. Like, you've got to go and be firm. You've got to go and be strategic. You've got to go and bring your willpower behind it and confidence and say what you need to say, do what you need to do. This is really a time that your integrity will be put to the test. You will be put into situations, Spirit will bring you places that will require you to stand up for yourself, use your voice, speak your truth, stand up for someone else, stand up for what's right. And you should. You should, even if it feels scary. I was explaining to someone that I had met that is an immigrant from South Africa recently, and was explaining the immigration struggles for this gentleman bringing his family, his children over. Him and his wife are here now, and but their children are still in South Africa, and the process right now is grueling. And he was explaining how the way that the president's talking, or the administration is actually talking about immigrants, is just making things so much harder. And there's a lot in the air. And I said, I was explaining what I do, and he's a Christian, follows Jesus, and I said, I do too. I have, like I wear actually like a cross necklace. I have Jesus candles. I work with Jesus, the energy of Christ Sophia all the time. And I explained Jesus was a mystic. All of the people that wrote the Bible were psychic mediums. I said the ministers and churches are actually they're the psychic medium. The psychic mediums are the true pastor. We're the true minister. We're the true guides and healers. We've just been demonized, and in our brain has been weaponized against us, which is very sad. But so we connected in that regard. And they said, the Old Testament says people like me should be stoned to death. I don't. I go higher. My God is more powerful than that, and more rooted in unconditional love. And um, I go on to kind of explain that yes, there are a lot of frauds, but we're the true pastors. We are the true pastors. We're the conduits of spirit, that a lot of ministers, I think, are trying to claim that they are. Um, and I said, yeah, there's a lot of psychic mediums that are fraudulent out there. But I said, I would be a fraud if I didn't stand up and say something about what I see and that's happening politically. I said that I have people in my life that say I shouldn't be talking about politics as a light worker. There's been people that have told me and discouraged me from being so politically active with my platform. And I said, I would be a fraud minister if I didn't. And so if you have a platform and you are choosing not to get your toes into something that's dark, like politics, I don't blame you, but this is the time not to be silent. This is the time to stand and speak. This is the time to stand up for what's right, to stand up for one another, choose human rights. Okay, I may be more conservative with my beliefs, but I know that the person next to me may not be. So, I choose the inclusion because it's not just about me. It's not just about my religion. It's not just about what I think. America is a diverse land. It is a immigrant country. It is built off of immigrants. Immigrants are not a problem. Refugees we should welcome. The people that are immigrants that are coming over, a lot of them are in processes legally to get their papers. And right now, as we can see in testimonies, they're being deported during interviews. The legal process of immigration into this nation. So it's a mess. It's a mess. It's unethical. It's illegal. It's horrific. And it goes against the very republic that this diverse nation of immigrants is. I always get very discouraged when I see when we try to put walls up to Mexicans, like this was their land originally. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. So, what is you sitting silent going to do? Nothing. But we know that peaceful protesting works. Historically, it works. and it works today. So, in any way that you can really lean into your authenticity, really lean into getting out of the fear and stepping into your empowerment, this is the time. And when you do that, you set healthy boundaries and it ripples your aura. Your aura is comprised of everything that you are, including your beliefs, including the boundaries that you set with yourself and other people. Okay. So we need to not let others walk on us, ladies, and we need to be choosing wisely with who we keep near us in terms of partners too. So I love that video on how to keep your the radio show on how to keep your expectations high, because I have people write and say I'm settling. We need to not. We need to heal the wound that leads you to settle. That's where you go. That's where you go. That's where you start. The journey of self empowerment is not easy. The journey of healing requires willpower, it requires action, discipline, and that's where we tend to fall short. That's where we tend to not follow through with getting the reward, getting the prosperity, having the completion of our goal is by us kind of shorting ourselves in that regard. So I see if we can really anchor the beginning phases of unity consciousness into your everyday walk, it will really help to carry you through in these times of uncertainty and political unrest. And it's just quite scary everything that's taking place because it's the complete energy of the Antichrist, anti-choice, anti-human rights. It's very scary. So don't project your fear, project your love, and we're going to get through this. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer just to um, anchor in this time. My new YouTube schedule. Today at one of the properties that I live at, I walked in and all of the trees were being cut down around the house. I cried. I bawled my eyes out just because it was a morning of a beautiful sanctuary of um, nature. If I watch like deforestation on movies, I'm that type that will start crying on like I don't ever like to see deforestation, trees being cut down. Can anybody relate to me? Am I just a big crybaby or like I hug trees, I ground with trees, I send energy into trees if I need to cleanse. Trees remind me of mother energy, reminds me of feminine, nurturing, anchoring energy. it's a way of transmutation. It's the divine goddess. It's one of the most sacred and pure energies that I find on this planet are trees. Um, and so I mourned trees today. It's very interesting. And I was sitting with spirit, I was like, how am I gonna like, why is this affecting me so much? And like one of the things that spirit was saying is that it's grief of a healthy attachment. Have you ever experienced something like that where it's like it's sentimental? It's not even like an object that's you could say a tree is alive, but have you lost something that was sacred to you and you're like, this is it just sucks because it's a really healthy grief. It's a healthy way to mourn like through this. It's not like there's the death of a loved one or like a friend or a pet. It's just the natural grieving process. Have you ever gone through something like that where it was like it wasn't something major, but you caught yourself in the moment of sadness and said, there's nothing to do but just to process. There's nowhere to go. There's no fixing of the situation. It's gone and you're still alive and you should still be grateful and you have other homes and like everything else is great, but it still doesn't take away like losing something that you just find the utmost beauty in and peace and sanctuary. So, what's interesting is like I was this week drawn to a two. If you're familiar with Tubi, it's like a free streaming on smart TVs. But they have a series called The Outsiders. And just this week when I was in the house, I was led to watching and I've been binging The Outsiders. It's so good. It's about like the Appalachia people and this coal mining operation that they're trying to get people off their land high up in the mountains. And it was like, it was the house speaking to me. It's like the house was sentient. The trees were speaking to me. They're preparing me and showing me psychically what's about to happen. Man destroying nature for their own gain, And so when the landlord did that today, it was just like, it didn't hit me at first, but I'm like, I've been binging The Outsiders all week. Last night I was like, okay, I think I'm good on the show. But there was this sense of completion in that message of like, it is sacred the way that we care for not just one another and animals, but also the planet. Oxygen is one of the most fundamental needs of humanity. And, we can go without water, we can go without food, but we can't go without breath. And I think that is a testament or like a good supporting reason of why we should always love trees because they give us life, they give us breath. Um, so morning trees today, keep me in your prayers. But um, I just feel saddened when ecosystems get destroyed. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be a marine biologist so I could save the dolphins and the orcas. But and ecosystems in the water are really sacred too. That we're seeing us as humans not remember the importance of respect for nature and the planet. I'll kind of leave off tonight with a message on that. Um, in North America, it's winter. In Texas, it's cold. In Western New York, it's very cold and snowy. How can we'll leave off with this week. How can you become more one with nature this week? How can you respect nature more this week? How can you just find the beauty of something that naturally exists outside? Can you? It's cold, maybe you go for a walk and you just start to admire everything that you think is beautiful in people's yards or wherever you're on a trail. Maybe you start to just take some time to go outside this week and look up at the sky. Maybe you're in a city and there are no trees by you, but you just look up and admire the sky and bring presence in your life by admiring and appreciating nature and the beauty and the abundance that nature is and provides us with. The trees, they give us air, they give us shelter, We build our homes from the trees. They give us so much. You can be so resourceful with trees and the different uh, parts of nature. So this week or weekend, wherever you are, maybe just take some time to just go breathe outside, look at the sky, take some time to read the clouds, admire flowers, admire trees, admire how the birds come and have homes in certain trees. I don't know if you like to bird watch. I do. I love birds. And as I was leaving the property today, I did send Reiki to the animals, to the land, because the birds are coming back very sad and confused. Like this blue jay that I had been like communicating with, like came back, was like, "Where's my home? Where's my home?" And it looks just so dead and barren. It's just like it's sad. But I was happy that I was there because that's as Reiki masters what happens to us. We end up at these places where we can, we're just at the right time, the right moment to send healing prayers to any being that may need it, whether it be the bird, a human, an animal, whether it be sending healing to the land. I'm glad I was there to help with that grieving today and proud of myself for grieving in a way that was, I found very healthy. So grief is real. You can grieve anything. When you have any changes in your life, you're going through huge transitions, you grieve. It's not just the loss of actual loved ones, you grieve the loss of literally anything. And but Spirit had already given me the message a few months ago on my radio show. I want to say in October, yes, October. The message was on when your losses are really upgrades. So anything that we lose at times, remember, it may not be like a genuine loss. It might be a shifting out for something higher to be upgraded in, for you to be promoted. Okay, so the law of detachment is essential for the third dimension. We need it. You need it to survive. It's important, it's healthy, and it helps us to be present. Helps us to be present when you can process things healthily and detach. When you can accept things healthily and detach in a healthy way too. It's part of that cycle of moving forward and transmutation that I talk about quite often on my channel. Is the law of detachment because it's part of my religion that I incorporate. What's my religion? It's the free mind method. It's a religion that I created. It's a method to freeing your mind and heart. Um, and it takes spiritual principles and laws and teachings from many different religions into my own that I try to live through. So that's what I honor. And the trees are part of my religion, just as the law of detachment is. So are the trees, and so are the earth, is my religion. Um, so a great morning today, feeling better that I processed it and sat with myself and my spirit team for a little while, and then I hopped on here. Although it wasn't a big turnout, I know that eventually this will be. So I'm going to keep at this for my supporters and lovely clients that have been following me to this moment and supporting my channel. Thank you so much. And the show should get better soon. Bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and begin to wrap this up just by just a little bit more information with me. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. I offer private readings and healings that you can book with me right at jojoempathic.com. I also offer email readings from my website and also my Etsy shop. Etsy's going through a huge transition on my end too, but we're getting that together. But so yeah, you can get up with me on Etsy. And I also teach psychic development. I also teach energy healing and Reiki and psychic mediumship development. So if you are looking to tune your abilities, maybe you're looking to train in medical intuition or quantum healing, please consider working with me for an extended period of time through one of my package offerings. I offer a 3-session discounted package, 6-session and 12-session. So I hope to work with you there. It's one of my favorite offerings, most powerful offerings, and really excited to see who I connect with um, to birth the ES Center on another level. of joint healers of all different backgrounds and alternative healing practices where we can come together and offer healing virtually together. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will be launching a video 8 a.m. Central Time Saturday, a collective message on unity consciousness part 2 of the Atlas 3I message. And then also I will see you back here on YouTube Live at 3 p.m. Central next Tuesday. So if you would like a discounted live reading, please join me then and there. Until next time.